So now we'll open the floor for public comments. Do we have anyone who would like to make any public comments?
Madam Chair, I have a point of order. Will commission members, as far as those making public comments, can commission members question if they have a question about something said? If we hear
can
something,
we answer? You mean, you answered? Can we answer their public comment?
No. Are we permitted to ask a question if we hear something said during public comment? And is there a limit on public comment? I mean, a time limit?
Yeah, there's a 3-minute, as noted on the agenda. There's a 3-minute limit on comments.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know if they're comments. I don't know if I answer the questions. We typically don't. It's just they're just comments. They're not questions or dialogue. Okay. So it's just a 3-minute comment.
Okay.
Period.
All right. Very good.
With that being said, if there's anyone interested in making public comments, please come forward, identify yourself. Yes.
Hello, my name is Karen Turner, and I just would like to ask some questions on how it got out of procurement. Usually, I look at proposals where I work, and there is a criteria and everything that you have to go by, and a checklist that procurement should have, and this should not have gotten this far. It really should not. It's unfortunate now that, people are being held up on both sides because procurement did not do their job. I don't know who procurement is. I don't know where they are. But council needs to address this. Thank you.
Thank you. Also, before we have the next speaker, I would like to recognize other council members that are not a commission in the audience. I believe I see Councilman Congo. And I think that is it. Okay. Thank you. Next, please.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Ooh. I had a prepared statement, but with all that has occurred, I almost feel like Lapa has been railroaded today, I have to be honest with you. Because we definitely, I feel, have the better proposal. I do feel that. I also feel that the items that are missing by Lapa, meaning 3 professional references, we could get that tomorrow. Borrowing power, we could get that tomorrow. Letters of support, we've got them all over here, and you've received some. So I really feel that we've been railroaded. I feel that this process is meant to eliminate Lapa. That's my opinion. But I'm going to go ahead and read what I had prepared as well. I thank you for the opportunity to speak to the Commission and to the public once again. I'm Sherry Congo. I'm a board member, and I've been finance chair of LAPA since we organized in 2008. I guess I first want you, the committee members, and all the viewing audience to know that LAPA's purpose for organizing way back in 2008 was to save live television for this community. We had enjoyed cable TV live on Sunday since Reverend Benjamin Twin B. Brown was selling cable for Rollins Cablevision many years ago. It was this community and Reverend Brown, I call him the godfather of live Cablevision, who fought for so many years to save live leased access community TV. I have nothing but good things to say about the capabilities of Mr. Ivan Thomas to present quality shows and programming on television. He has a proven record to do just that. However, I disagree with his vision for Channel 28. Channel 28 was meant to be for the community's use. From what Mr. Thomas stated in his presentation to this commission, he's going to be sure that he creates programs for Channel 28. and that they are all positive. There will be no negative programming or shows, he said. This, in my opinion, violates FCC regulations and most certainly is not the vision of LAPA.
30 seconds.
This channel was given to the city by Comcast. Can somebody else give me their time? Because I got a little bit more here. As part of the 12-year franchise agreement, which was signed in 2014. Most specifically, the public leased access channel was given so that we could continue live community television shows, not shows that we, the TPOs, third-party operators, would create, but shows that anybody in the community could create, and create to their own specifications, as long as the content is not against FCC rules. The content of anyone's show can be controversial, or arguably against what LAPA believes. That's a part of our Constitution. We can't make up rules that would be a backdoor to censoring someone's program content. This is what Mr. Thomas indicated to Chairperson Shabazz that he would do. I believe this is a dangerous road to go down. Right now, LAPA has shows that are inclusive of everyone's rights and beliefs. Some of our shows have content for children, like the Congo Children's Hour, Children's Corner, where our young people get to showcase their talents. Some focus on the elderly, like Marianne Miller's The Golden Hour, or Carolyn Peets and Friends show, Enjoy the Journey. Some focus on community events, and I could go on and on and on. Suffice it to say, I believe that LAPA should be granted the third-party operator for the next 4 years. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I have a question.
Commissioner,
May I ask?
yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Of the chair. When this committee reconvenes, then there will be another public comment portion
Yes.
of that meeting. Okay, I just want the speakers to know that if they don't finish everything, we'll come back together again soon because we have to resolve this matter, right? Mm-hmm. Okay.
So who gave their time to what time to Ms. Congo? Thank you. Ms. Baker? Yes, ma'am.
I'm a little shorter. Thank you for the opportunity to appear before you. For many years, since 2009, I was involved with LAPA, as well as hundreds of community people who came before City Council and they didn't demand, because we don't use the word demand. What they did was to encourage and try to get this commission, the other people who were on the commission, to understand the severity of losing Channel 28. LAPA took the lead, and believe you me, we worked hard. We were out in the community. We came before the City Council, and I don't want to belabor the point because we're here today, and we're here today for another reason. However, what's critical and what's important here is the work, the hard work, the dedication, the commitment that went into sustaining, not only starting it, but sustaining it in the face of opposition. You're always going to have opposition. But we were steadfast in confronting those who attempted to annihilate us. We were steadfast in dealing in front of people who, for maybe another word I should say, were two-faced, were dishonest, and we've confronted that, and we have that again today. We have that today. There's a person who is on our board who has come before this commission contract with the city on our board. And so when you ask for items, easily, if our items are board operations, everything is there for that particular person to observe and to get. What work did they have to go through? Like we did. Yes, we put in years into this effort.
20
And
seconds.
I'll tell you, it hasn't been always easy. But one thing you can say, you did not hear a whole lot of ugly stuff. You did not hear the news journal writing up negative articles. When we were confronted with all of those people who were careless in paying us, we found a way. And
10 seconds.
not only that, but we continue to upgrade our ability to do that. I am happy to say that we now have on board someone who's even better than when I was operating and running as the president of the of LAPA.
Time is vacant.
They're great in doing that. I will close, but this is emotional for me because we had to confront a lot of different things. And I understand and I admire technology. God knows I do. And I admire
Your time is vacant.
creativity.
Thank you. Okay, you can continue, Ms.
Thank
Baker.
I admire technology. And I understand that. But we're not stupid as LAPA people. We can do that. We know we had to struggle. We had these years to learn, to do what we had to deal with people who did not want to pay. Or they said they would pay. And we had to struggle through how are we going to handle that. But we did. In other things, we were proficient. During my period, and unfortunately I lost my husband, and my daughter is critically ill now. But during my time, reports were always submitted on time. Any requests that the city asked for, they got, and they got on time. And I would defy anybody saying that that's not the case. It was the case. There was transition. The city council has gone through transitions itself. Consequently, LAPA has had to go through transitions. And so new people have to get adjusted and do certain things. But more importantly, one of the things is, even though there were times when we would debate, we wouldn't always agree, but we were mature. We knew how to work it out. The people were the first thing. We weren't going to embarrass the city. We weren't going to embarrass the people who supported us. We weren't going to do anything to be negative and have you, city council members, upset with the fact that you honored us with giving us the contract. And we believe, quite frankly, in the face of dishonesty, and I'm going to say that straight up, I haven't changed. In the face of dishonesty, we would say that we as LAPA, given that background, should continue as LAPA with its existing board and with additional people who would give us the update that you're talking about. I understand what you're saying. To upgrade and to do the technology
30
and
seconds,
all the
Ms. Baker.
things that we need to do to modernize, as you said, and you're right. We can do that, though. So I thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate the community. But LAPA has done that. We have appreciated the community. We have appreciated Comcast. And we have done everything within our power. And we will do better in terms of the technology. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Baker.
Thank you for your consideration.
Hold on. I'd just like to reiterate to the members of the audience that the delay in making sure that all the documentations is properly presented, even to answer the questions about procurement, are responsibilities of us as commissioners to ensure that anytime we go into a partnership with someone doing business with the city, that all due diligence is properly done. It's not saying that we've made a decision. We just want to make sure that we have all of the necessary legalities in place, questions answered. I know it should have been done before that. I understand that. I cannot give you an answer, and that question will be answered. Okay? But that's where we are, and it is our due diligence to make that. You heard the comments from the commissioner, and we're just following suit. With that, I'd like to continue, sir.
All right. My name is Jakim Mohammed, and I'm on Real Talk with Yolanda. She's around here somewhere. And we have a show on Lapper. First, before I start anything today, I want to say how proud I am of Brother Thomas. I think that Brother Thomas is a good man. And too many of us in our black community get into these chicken fights. And I don't want to get into no chicken fights. I'm here to fight white supremacy, and that's all I'm here to fight. Understand what I'm talking about. Secondly, I would like to say I was there on January 10th, and much respect to Brother Thomas. I was there on January 10th, and y'all keep talking about how much technology you have. Well, Real Talk with Yolanda has its own YouTube page. We have our own thing. We don't need the station to give it to us. We're good with our own technology. We do our own production. And if you was there on January 10th, you would have saw that some of Ivan and DTV stuff didn't work when they was doing the presentation. That's what technology is. It works sometimes, and sometimes it don't. And when it don't, it is pretty bad. So when you say that his advantage is technology, that is not true. I have my own YouTube page, Delaware Info Now. I don't need my station to give me a Delaware Info Now. I load my own stuff up. So if you giving that particular thing to Ivan, saying that DTV can do it better than us, we don't need that. I'm a producer of a show, and I put my own content out. Second, censorship. I am totally against censorship. And I think the two sisters that were here earlier, Sister Congo and Sister Baker, has said it 100%. Those people in those high-risers watch Comcast. They need Comcast. They don't need Instagram. They don't need Twitter. And they don't need YouTube. I have YouTube. So I have Instagram and I have Twitter. But moving forward to say that that's the edge that they have, I don't know what y'all looking at. And especially when I had one of these commissioners say, Lapper was stagnant. Have you watched our program? If you watch Real Talk with Yolanda, it ain't the same as every other talk. Believe that.
30 seconds, sir.
Again, I don't want to get into any chicken fights with anybody. I'm here to give out information, and that's what it is. All due respect to Brother Thomas, he's a good man. I like him. But let me just say this. Sometimes you're not ready for prime time. Leave it right there.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Good afternoon to the commission. Good afternoon, Chair Lady Hanifa Shabazz. My name is Anthony Floyd, Jr., first Vice President for the NAACP for the state of Delaware. I want to say this emphatically so there'll be no room for ambiguity of the position of the NAACP chapter for the state of Delaware. We stand shoulder to shoulder with Queen Ruth Baker. We stand shoulder to shoulder with Ms. Josie Roy. We stand shoulder to shoulder with those sisters, phenomenal sisters, who work tirelessly to create a dynamic communication vehicle that would resonate throughout the city of Wilmington and beyond. We stand shoulder to shoulder for those that have helped build something out of nothing. We respect them in the highest order. And we will make notification to the national office in Baltimore about this issue. And one thing we want to say very clearly, so there'll be no room for getting it twisted or ambiguity. We're looking to strengthen their position and give them the encouragement that they need for the work that they've done. We have to do this for Wilmington. We have to do it for Delaware. And I thank you so much for the opportunity to say this. Keep on keeping on, Ms. Baker. Keep on keeping on, Ms. Josie Roy. Keep on keeping on, Ms. Congo. Strong sisters. Building something that will elevate the whole community. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Next speaker.
Hello, my name is Alethea Smith-Tucker. I am the Logistics Director of DTV, and I'm here to ask for clarity. Some of the contention points regarding the IEN and the Articles of Incorporation, I don't think it is appropriate to ask the bidding TPO that hasn't established the business, that hasn't received the bid, to have an EIN and Articles of Corporation prior to getting the bid. And I thought the very purpose of the 3-month period between the decision today, the decision January 31st until March 31st was that growing time to allow the new TPO to acquire those documents, because now you have officially formed an entity. So could I please get some clarity on that?
Let me see.
The RFP clearly lays out as one of the requirements those documents to demonstrate that you are in a position to, as a corporation or a nonprofit, to operate the facility. That was one of the requirements of the request for proposal.
In addition to that, in the request for proposal, in the addendum, it stated that there was a period of transition time from January 31st to March 31st to allow the new TPO that time and process to be positioned, because establishing a new company or organization based upon the bid for an incoming TPO would be necessary. And so that growth period, and am I clear to say that there is that period of process that allows the newly established TPO to establish the business, the articles, provide the board, and so forth?
What you're referring to, the 3-month period that we extend to whoever is awarded the contract, has to do with the logistical switchover. If a TPO needs time to switch over, bring in staff, set up its equipment, get their personnel, and the logistical foundation of the operation of that is what that 3-month process was designed for, was calling for. The RFP specifically asked for those documents that show that you are incorporated or a nonprofit established. That was very clear. That was a very clear request from the RFP.
Well, thank you for clarity. And I do want to know if the commission is available for follow-up for more clarity in this transition period. Like, who's the contact?
That's me.
It would be
Okay.
Mr. Tucker.
Thank you.
Reverend Johnson.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and members of the Commission. I'm Pastor Derek Johnson of the Joshua Harvest Church, also the host of Holler Back Live with Pastor D on Channel 28. I began somewhere at 19 years old with Al Plant on Community Crossfire. And I consider myself a stakeholder because I was also a part of the 2008 saving of this channel by LAPA in their reach out to the community. And I must say that, as they say, experience matters, but also, in my mind, integrity matters. And when we have the situation we're all aware of in the African-American community, that someone who works for me then takes information they glean as a member of my staff and then translates that information into a opportunity for themselves, I would suggest that lacks integrity. And when I consulted with the city of Wilmington, I initially did not have a business license. And I had the opportunity, but I was told, if you don't have a business license, Pastor D, you're not prepared to do business with the city. So you need to come back when you have a business license. And the fact that they do not have a business license is, in fact, a non-starter. Let me say that LAPA, in its presentation, I know stagnation in my mind is in the eyes of the beholder. Our show, for instance, has presented recently comedic satire. No station in the Delaware area has done that. We've been contacted by Tyler Perry's organization because of the characters that we have on LAPA TV. So in many ways, it is more advanced. It depends on what area you first develop your advancement in. LAPA has chosen to develop people over technology starting out. And because of that, they now have the support of many, many people in the community, to include myself. Let me conclude by saying that the business license absence is significant for another reason. It is because
30 seconds.
you cannot generate letters, credible letters, from people you've done business with in the city of Wilmington and state of Delaware if you have not done business with those people. And so any letters that are generated for DET now
10 seconds.
have to be the product of an untruth or have to be the product of just wanting them to get the bid. I urge this commission to continue LAPA
5
so
seconds.
they can continue their great work for Least Access TV. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Kasai Guthrie. I'm the founder of We Need Our Fathers and also a financial literacy app called Nexter. And I'm currently the mayoral candidate for the city of Newark. I'm standing here in solitude with Ivan Thomas and DETV. I have a quick statement I would like to read. I would say, Mr. Thomas does not want to censor news. You know, I don't know where that narrative came from. Ivan Thompson simply wants to highlight all the positive news that is going on in Wilmington. My personal opinion is that it will be a bad decision to merge LAPA and DETV, simply because LAPA has had 20 years to get this thing right. Ivan brings strong, innovative ideas, proven track record, and the team to make the channel a success. I believe that Ivan deserves a right to have the freedom to take the channel to the next level without baggage and resistance. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Angela Harris. I'm also a vice president on the board of LAPA. And I've been involved with LAPA since Ruth recruited me back in 2009, I think it was. You know, I have a true passion for LAPA because I've always seen LAPA as a vehicle to be able to bring out news and things of interest to the community. You know, things they ordinarily would not receive if it had not been for LAPA being the vehicle to do that. And so I have all the respect for that, and that's one of the reasons why I volunteered my time, never receiving a dime, since 2009, to see that LAPA worked. And also seeing that the things they needed were provided. I'm also the secretary. But I want to say that Ivan, who I really like too, and have a lot of respect for, and I love his mom. You know, he came and joined the board, and I thought joining the board he was going to come bring me some of his IT, his his internet, bringing that community to LAPA and exposing LAPA to some more new, modern techniques. You know, so very, very disappointed to see that he came in, sat on the board, gathered the information, and then decided to go and compete against us and say the lack of that was the reason why we don't deserve to have the TPO anymore. That is just so backstabbing and hypocritical. Because if you cared about what you said you cared about, then you could have joined LAPA freely and been able to volunteer, like the rest of us do, and help to push this forward and still keep your DETV. What was wrong with that? No one's against bringing it up to date, as you all say. And I'm all for that, and we're for that, and we've been looking at that. That's one of the reasons why we were interested in bringing Ivan in the first place. You know, and we're going to continue to pursue that now because we know that's important. But I want to say something. A TPO was put out. LAPA provided their information. DET provided their information. It is obvious that by default, if no other reason, LAPA should have been given this bid, not a postponement for 2 weeks and let them get their EIN, whatever else they need. I mean, it's unfair. It's unfair any way you look at it. To me, it's still a form of censorship. I wrote a letter, and I'm going to read that letter, and somebody please give me their time. But LAPA has been the PTO operator for the past 5 years, and during this time, they have provided an excellent venue for community news, public expression, and freedom of speech. Many of you can remember Comcast no longer wanted to provide local television, but LAPA believed it was too important.
Your time.
Somebody gave me their time, correct?
He's not in line to speak.
You don't even have a sign-up sheet, so how can you say that?
Everybody who's speaking is in line.
To keep live television
Don't make rules up as you go.
And a lot agreed and joined LAPA, and together we determined, with determination and sacrifice, we won. Now we are here fighting to keep our voices because we believe that LAPA should be allowed. We believe that LAPA should not allow certain individuals. I'm getting back focused again. That kind of threw me off. Now we are here again fighting to keep our voices because some believe that LAPA should not allow certain individuals who express their own personal views to appear on Channel 28. They want to stop your freedom of speech and censor what you say on Channel 28. But isn't that why we fought for access television in the first place? To ensure that the community would not be silenced or censored and that our communities would have access to information they otherwise may not have. LAPA did not let us down, and they have done a great job operating the station. Of course, having the support of all of you helped seal the deal. Now and again, LAPA needs your help, your voice. So please, support us. Let your voices be heard. Freedom of speech should include everybody. LAPA, as the PTO operator of Channel 28, should be, because people trust LAPA. You know you can trust us. Whenever you came down to Channel 28 or you called in, you were able to have access to get on TV and express whatever opinion you had. It did not matter, because that's what it's all about. As a matter of fact, freedom of speech is First Amendment. the freedom of speech and to express what you feel and how you feel is all right. And if you sit back and allow, look, he started off dishonest. So even if I supported Ivan, he started off dishonest. So starting out dishonest, to me, ruins your credibility for me to trust you in the future that you wouldn't try to take over Channel 28 and censor it. And if the city of Wilmington goes along with it, then you are violating the constitutional right, the First Amendment. And the fact that you want to even to take and say, put it on hold and let them get their stuff together and then come back? Why? Why is that? I don't understand that. It's unfair. It's unjust. It should be illegal.
30 seconds.
LAPA should be the TPO. We should leave here being the TPO and not have to go through the stress of having to come back again and do it all over again. It's totally unfair. You should pick this one up. You have a good day. Thank you so much for hearing me out.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are in line, then you have time to give to the next. You have time to give to the speaker. Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
Good afternoon. I'm Adnan Aline, and I'm a nonprofit leader here, and I live in the city. As I'm standing here in support of Mr. Ivan Thomas and the DTV proposal, and I just want to share, I mean, it kind of breaks my heart coming to this meeting that we're in this place and it has gotten this way. And I want to say, you know, anything I'm saying, I came here to support Ivan Thomas and not to insult the work that has gone on before here. That's not what I came here for. And I think what I wanted to say to commissioners and those making the decision is my concern is that it's gotten so personal, it's gotten so political, because what I would love to hear as a constituent and a resident is, you know, the clarity from this body about what are the goals for this. What are the goals in terms of viewership? What are the goals in terms of engagement? What are the goals in terms of quality? And has the current operator met those goals? And do you believe that the proposals that you look at it like that in terms of the track record? Because without doing that, we get to the place now where coming to support one is basically tearing down the others. And I see and I respect the work that has gone ahead. I came here really to support Ivan because of a few things. One, this industry is changing. We look at our news journal. I mean, they just laid off another set of people. This industry is changing, and from what I'm hearing, this is a 40-year, if I'm not mistaken, proposal, and this is going through rapid change. And we're in a place where what drew me to come here today and to sit here for way longer than I planned to sit here is the innovation and the integrity and the innovation that I've seen from DETV's work. I've been able to participate and through the nonprofit organizations that I've been engaged with to engage with Mr. Ivan, and I'm impressed by the relentless intensity around creating, innovating, producing content that's going to engage people, thinking of different mediums and different channels, and making sure I'm hearing a lot about censorships, and I don't think anyone that has seen his work really believes that. That may be something that's convenient to use today, but believes that is anything that is goal. And it kind of breaks my heart that is what people are saying, because all I've seen, right, is intention to bring voices that are not heard when traditional media wasn't listening to certain voices. I've seen Ivan on the front lines without pay, without kind of resources, going out there and doing his thing. And so that is what brought me here. I can't speak to what has happened before with the channel, but what I say is that I really respect the work. I think that if we're thinking over 40 years, we need to re-innovate.
30 seconds.
We need to think about technology. And it's not just technology. I keep hearing that. What I heard from the commissioners was they were compelled by the vision. And I want to be careful that you can't just merge things. How much time, sorry?
20 seconds.
You can't just, I'll end up. You can't just merge, right, and say that vision. I mean, obviously there's some tension here, and I think that is a wrong decision. But what I'm saying is you can gain certain things over experience, right? What LAPA started somewhere and they learned. But the vision that if you believe in the vision and you believe the track record speaks to itself, then I think that's what you vote on. Because right now we've got to a place, it's all about personalities, it's all about attacks, and I think that's wrong for this and that's wrong for the city. Thank you.
Thank you. And due to the time, I think we're at the limit of those people in line would be the last comments that we would have time to hear. Thank you.
Good.
Mr. What? I know Mr. Holloway's in line. Okay.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Madam President.
Yes, sir, Mr. Washington.
Good afternoon, everyone.
First and foremost, let's do away with the fixed mindset in this reactive city under a good old boy network. Let's start off with a growth mindset, being proactive and transparent. I'm here, and I'm only here to thank LAPA for providing me an opportunity. They provided me an opportunity when I was a kid going on Earl Christie show when we won trophies from Jackson Street Boys Club. They are a pillar in this community simply because a lot of people that are on that board have been fighting for us to get some things done in the community. One of the things I like to thank LAPA for is, I don't know if you ever heard of historical black colleges and universities or HBCU Delaware Coalition. Well, I thank LAPA for providing me a TV show which was called HBCU Delaware Talks. In light of that show, a lot of students begin to look at historical black colleges and universities throughout the city of Wilmington. Had it not been for that show, the platform would not have been there for the mayor to have the big HBCU week in the city of Wilmington. So we want to first and foremost thank the people who work for LAPA. Understand this, I get paid for one job, and that's to teach school. Everything else I do is volunteer. I'm a business owner of the HBCU Delaware Coalition, founder and president. I'm Norfolk State Alumni Chapter founder and president. I own Stone Oven Pizzeria and Soul Food. And one of the things that we do, we provide for everybody in the community. And one of the things that LAPA has done, they have provided for everyone in the community. I want you to also be mindful that because of LAPA's platform, many of us that hold local offices is due to that show. So we want to be mindful that we don't pick and choose. We just go into it with an open mindset. We don't take it personal. We just want to make this city grow and all work together. I just spoke to Ivan, by the way, and because of something that he may have heard, which is not true because he didn't hear from me, he refused to shake my hand and speak. That's not good. In spite of how I feel about you, in spite how you look, in spite how you speak, I still will support you. And that's what we need to do. We need to begin to support LAPA. Those seniors that are right down the high rises, they live for LAPA television on Sunday. Some of them don't have TV, and that's all they watch. And maybe LAPA doesn't do everything that the community says, but they are a vehicle for people to get their point across. And one more thing I want to add to you. We talk about positive. 10 seconds. So if there was no negative, positive would have anything to act on. So negative, there's positive in it as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Washington.
Wow. Madam President?
Yes, sir.
I am so hurt right now. And let me tell you why I'm hurt. I'm hurt because, I will never, ever, my name is Ivan Thomas. I'm the founder of DETV. I will never, ever say anything bad about Mr. Congo, Mrs. Congo, or LAPA, ever. And I sat here and I took shots from a lot of people that smile in my face and is quick to jump in front of my camera because they know I got a following. And Steve, I'm so hurt because that didn't happen. I ate at your restaurant. I supported you. I did videos and got over 1,000 views. But what I'm saying is, DETV, it's not about picking shots. It's about bringing white people, black people, Hispanic people together. I ran around here in a van. I got 3 pairs of jeans, and in my jeans, they got ripped because I hop out of van just to make this city look good, just to make black people look good. And I sit here, and it hurts because I did it because I love Wilmington. My mom took shots. I took shots, and I don't deserve it. All I wanted to do, Madam President, was to show this city at the best that I believe it could be.
Ma'am, can I come on?
Mom, go back.
Thank you.
Go back. I love this city. I'm born and raised in Southbridge. And I saw something in the city where no one saw it. And I made it happen. And I helped get a lot of people a lot of attention. But I never thought that me trying to save this city would bring me to this point. All I wanted to do was save this city and give it a name and put it on the map. And if it's going to cost my integrity and who I am, I'm still going to do it. I am so hurt, but I'm so honored that I can do it. And now what happened is the fuel, the spark, the fuse that is now lit under me. I'm going to do it with 28 or with 9, but it will be done.
30 seconds.
And I promise you that. But one thing you cannot say about me is I don't love my city and that I do respect Lappa. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Holloway.
Madam Chair, I would like to say at the outset that I think your time clock on 3 minutes, the plug gets pulled or something sometime because some folks drift past that 3 minutes and continue on. Some are challenged, some are not. So I would ask that you be as lenient with me as you are with others. But let me just say, first of all, when I rose the minute you said you were going to open up for comment, I rose and I was anxious to almost run up here and be the first speaker. And then I said, no, I'm not going to say anything. I didn't come here to say anything. And to Ivan and to a very dear friend, his mother out there, Mrs. Bernice Thomas and others, and to that gentleman said he's running for mayor or something. This is an emotional issue. It's emotional. Because we feel we see some things happening underhanded that shouldn't be based on the credibility of this situation. And let me tell you, the board and Madam President, one thing you need to take a look at right away. John, you need to take a look at it. And that is that in all that Ivan has been trying to do over the years, and most recent, Ivan has been running a business of Delaware TV without a business license. That's very important. I remember when people that were just getting a little hustle up on the mall didn't have business license. They got chased off. And others. So all I'm saying is, number one, look at the main issue here. If you don't have a business license, you don't qualify to do business with the city. Now, to talk about allowing time and when will the next meeting be and all that, and I didn't come to fight with anybody or to get on anybody or make it personal. The facts are the facts. We can produce, as Ms. Congo said, Ms. Ruth Baker said, within 24 hours, those remaining things that you were talking about. We can get those, not an issue. But to ask us to seriously consider, and I think some of you came from your heart as you talked, you commission members, as you talked about a possible merger between the two. I think you really would like maybe to see something like that happen. I would just caution you, we've already been there and done
30
that.
seconds.
We put him on our board. We accepted him. He was to come in and do these things that he's saying he wants to do. We gave him keys to the building, Madam President. We gave him a code to come in and out and work with the youth and make contacts. And it all fell apart and none of it was really produced or done. So I ask that you seriously consider where we are. You're talking about time delay and putting this off. To go down and try to become incorporated as a nonprofit, which is not. To go down and to apply a business license, rather simple.
5 seconds.
To file for a federal EI number with internal revenue that's backed up with people laid off and not even getting paid and taxes due, that's going to take some time. So all I would say is consider what you're asking, move this meeting up, and let's get this thing over with. I would dare say no longer than a week, and I would respectfully recommend within the next 40 hours, let's shut this thing down. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Washington. Mr. Howard.
I'm struggling a little bit with my knee because I just had surgery, so please forgive me.
Yes, ma'am.
But as president of LAPA, I would like to speak on behalf of LAPA and what we have gone through. You know, when we first decided, when the Comcast decided that we no longer was going to have Channel 28, a whole lot of us in this community decided that that was not going to happen. We fought, we walked, we did all that we could do, and I did too. And here I am again today, still struggling to make sure that LAPA continues to be the TPO and the operator of Channel 28. It's very emotional. I'm like Ms. Ruth Baker, and I want to thank everybody for their positive comments about LAPA. It's very, very emotional today. It's emotional for me. It's emotional because, first of all, we must have honesty and we must have integrity. And I think LAPA has done that and have proved to be honest and is full of integrity. We didn't want to go here today with Ivan, but we have to go there. Anytime. Ivan's a good person. I've talked to Ivan, worked with Ivan on our board. But anytime you sit with us, work with us, promise us that you're going to come and help us to do what he's telling you he's going to do, and then tell us that another TPO from Philadelphia was also putting in for the TPO, and that I'll put in for the TPO to save LAPA. Where is the honesty? This is what we've been going through, and it's not right. That you sit and you get information, as Herman said, you take the code, you get a key, and you're doing whatever you want to do with the TV station.
30 seconds.
You're bringing in people, white people, as he stood here and said, white people, walking around the studio, whatever, and we don't even know what's going on. We like, how you do that and don't even tell us who you're bringing in here.
10 seconds.
I think somebody's yielding me their time. Somebody please yield me their time.
There's no one else
I think
in line.
Ms. Peak was
I'll give you 10 extra seconds, Ms. Boyd.
Pardon me?
I'll give you 10 extra seconds.
Okay. Well, anyway, honesty. And I want to say to Miss Bernice Thomas, the lies that people have put out that said LAPA said anything about you, Miss Bernice, that is not so. I'm a straight shooter, and I don't mind telling nobody to their face what I believe.
5 seconds.
And what I'll say. But these lies that's been spreading about Miss Bernice Thomas, about LAPA, put something out, we don't do that.
5
we don't
seconds.
work like that. So I just want to say that I do believe that LAPA should continue to be the TPO, and that we have worked hard, still struggling. And no, we're not where you want us to be. We had board members who promised us to help us to get where we wanted to be,
Your time
and then
is
they
going.
turned their back on us. So I think we have been.
Your time is going.
Sir, then I'm going to leave. I think that the injustice has been done to LAPA. And you know, sometimes these 3 minutes, we need to get out without. But everybody knows now. The monkey's out. But I tell you what, we got to be careful. Because we can't have people sitting on our board and then turn around and cut our throat.
Time is going.
Thank you.
Madam Chairman and the members of the committee, with thank you for the opportunity. My name is Pastor Louis McDuffie. You saw me the other day. I am not here to jump on anybody. Let me say something to you. I wrote the complaint, the legal complaint, to keep us on air. I talked with Mrs. Baker and others. Even through the night, we would work on what we wanted to say. And when you're fighting hundreds of lawyers, maybe thousands, you have to know what you're doing or you will not be successful. Now, nobody else in the country was successful. So the first thing, LAPA was thought not just to be the present, but the future. They made no mistake. I've been sitting here listening to things that were supposed to be new ideas and not criticizing anybody else. Those are the ideas beyond LAPA had. From the very beginning, when I wrote the original complaint, I thoroughly researched every aspect of this thing that was necessary to make us survive. And Comcast agreed. Now, we have the responsibility of dealing with veterans who are trying to commit suicide. That was done on the line of LAPA. When that happened, they would call me to come in. This is how this got to the president, ex-president, former president. Come in and deal with them, because that was one of my specialties as commander and as also as 50, 60 years in counseling. Now, a number of things happened. They asked me to stay on the air. Let us all stay on the air for the youth and for the children so they can see something positive. We're talking about positive stuff. We're talking about Wilmington looking good, and there's no criticism of anybody else. We worked to bring the violence down, and we had the chiefs of police on television to say this is the lowest in the history of the United States. Rick Gregory, then we worked in last September to get the violence down in Wilmington. We ran into Wilmington. I dealt with the chief of police, with your chief here, as well as the governor, and I gave him some ideas on how to do it, because we were using these models across the country. That same month, that day almost, in September, the violence went dropping just like that. We're talking about new stuff, new ideas. LAPA has ideas. The problem is that each person is carrying out the weight to which God assigned them, and you may not like it. Other people are saying, like,
30 seconds.
Okay, Delaware's not... Delaware, the President Trump had Delaware's records in his hand carrying them around. How did the violence drop that way? How did it drop September, almost that day? That model we've been doing for 30 years. We had chiefs of police. We had a number of models going around this country. We're already number one.
10 seconds.
I tell you, keep your eye on the truth. The most advanced group here is LAPA, because they allow each person to move this world forward. God bless and keep you.
Thank you, sir. I want to thank all the members of the public who came and shared comments with us today. This concludes the agenda of today's Cable TV and Cable Video and Telecommunications Commission. There will be a public notice as when we will convene. And with that, I accept the motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved in second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Meeting adjourned. Thank you.